So Mr. Malik is having a technical issue about this.
Hello. Yes, hello. I can hear you.
Yes, I was kindly requesting you to introduce yourself before we can proceed with the discussion. Can the rest of the audience tell me if I'm audible enough? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, thank you. Okay. So we're sorry about this inconvenience caused. Mr. Malik fixed the error. So I think 1 more minute. Thank
Wewe masomo na husatamba. Au. Atuye. Banjwa. Tuani ba lenzo ba. Wanji.
Everyone, good evening, good afternoon, good side. Happy to hear from you. Sorry about the technical glitches, but I'm now loud and clear. I'm Sozi Malik, from Kampala, Uganda. I'm happy to hear and meet all of you. And it's valuable and to make impact in our routine, our schedule, and our cyber hygiene. Yeah. So thank you.
you, Malik. So our topic for this session is the rise of cybercrime, but most importantly, how to keep safe online. I'll start off with the statistics. So statistics in the Interpol African Cyber Threat Assessment Report 2024. Over various forms of cybercrime. And it is estimated that in 2020, there was a 23% year-on-year increase in the average number of weekly cyber and being victim of cybercrime. This discussion, I would kindly request our panelists to cyber crime. We will help be able to specify that this is a cyber crime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. What I can say is that cybercrime is just like any crime that is committed using our devices. So as long as you have a device, internet, and you're able to cause harm, or you're the target, or you're the victim, so that is the cybercrime in simplicity, or any other traditional crimes that are performed with the aid of technology. That is all that amounts to a cybercrime.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't know, Mr. Ishmael, would you say the same on what amounts to cybercrime? I believe you have expertise in fraud and cyber forensics, right?
All right, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak this afternoon. Well, I concur with what Mr. Malik said. However, I want us to remove the notion of seeing someone as a cybercrime. Many people will think of someone that can be able to access into or hack into a bank, or that can be someone, or it's going to be someone that have access to your credit card information and have access to your funds or something like that. So I want us to change this perspective that cyber criminal or cybercrime or the things that amount to cybercrime is not just that all. Let's take for instance, when your girlfriend or your brother asks you to change him his Gmail password as a non-techie, and after you change his Gmail password or his Facebook password, and after you change that, then you give him access to his properties. Then one day one spirit urge you to maybe log into that particular somebody's account and be able to see or view his chat or her chat. You are by committing that, just that alone, you are committing cyber crime. So cyber crime is not just what we have or to see in a movie, that someone who break into some people's bank account or something like that. Even if you launch a phishing attack, or you hack into some people's website, or you hack, or you do a kind of unauthorized access to any other or somebody's devices, if it is via internet, we used to call that as a cybercrime. So this is what I have. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Isma, for redefining the cybercrime and what it amounts to, and for giving us that broad definition. So at the moment, what are the current trends of cybercrime that we have seen arise in 2024?
Thank you, Ruth, for that question. I would say, as of 2024, some of the crimes that we've seen, particularly both in Uganda and worldwide. Let's first start with the technology that has been trending. So we've seen AI trending over the past 3 years, and AI has its pros and cons. Some of the attacks that have been able to be driven by AI, there are these attacks that are called synthetic attacks, where the attacker goes ahead and generates a voice, they generate some deep fakes and all that. So all these have been used by AI, or these attacks have been enhanced by AI. So AI-driven attacks have been on the rise, I would say, particularly worldwide. And the other attacks I can talk of is the IoT vulnerabilities. Remember, now most of the devices are getting connected on the internet. We are having cameras, we are having smartwatches, we are having smart sensors. So most of the devices are getting connected online. And what does that mean? The more devices you connect on your system, the more vulnerabilities that are being presented on that system. And of course, attackers can't miss. So IoT vulnerabilities are also have also been prevalent. Then we also have the increased focus on critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure can be the electricity power grid, the national water supply system, the transport system. So some of the African countries have not had, let's say, the national transport system or that kind of arrangement. But at least for power and water, we do have such systems. So attackers are now shifting their focus from, let's say, personal data. Now, threat actors, mostly the state-sponsored, if they want to hit a nation, they are going for the critical infrastructure. And those are some of the current trends of cyber crimes that I'm seeing at a higher perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Malik. To Mr. Ismail, are there some of the attacks that we are still facing in 2024 that have been prevalent from the previous years?
Yes, honestly. Somebody else when we talk about school, but what we are facing, like a kind of challenging attack that we are facing on this.
Sorry, we can't be able to hear you.
My audible, I
Okay, yeah,
yes.
right now.
Hello.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that one of the major attacks that I do solve a lot this year alone is that the ability of exploiting human weaknesses, which if I can say this in cybersecurity language, say this is what we refer to as social engineering. Still, so many attackers, they learn that a lot of websites, a lot of servers are now a little bit secure than as it is before. So they are now leveraging on human weaknesses. They are exploiting human weaknesses to exploit those devices. A recent attack that has been carried away in ShopRite, even is in Ghana or South Africa. I can't remember. But they leverage the use of this social engineering, they hack them, and they employ ransomware on their system, and they ask them to pay particular money for that, which is obvious. This reminds me that a lot of people need to be cyber aware of this particular social engineering, and in particularly, a lot of people need to have a kind of awareness, self-awareness, to defend themselves regarding this particular.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ismail. Would you say phishing falls under the social engineering category? And how would you describe phishing to someone who is
Sorry, does that go to me or to Mr. Ismail?
can go to anyone. And I was asking one. Although you break off a bit, but you're audible.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What I'm saying, what we mean by social engineering, it's a kind of techniques in which people can use. Let me put it in a clear or in a real world scenario. I'm a techie guy, so I know just a little about data, and I notice that you don't. So then I utilize that your little knowledge or little or no knowledge to maybe scam or do you. Or I can say sometimes phishing attack is the ability of you to lure someone by believing that he is clickable, by sending him a particular link and making him believe in that he is visiting a genuine link. Like for instance, someone who is using maybe GT Bank, who is using maybe Eco Bank, like I'm mentioning Nigerian banks. So you send it someone a cloning page, a page that looks exactly like somebody who looks at particular somebody to provide sensitive information, thinking that maybe a bank application. That particular thing is what we refer to as phishing attack.
Okay. Thank you.
Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mr. Malik,
Yes, please.
what is the phishing, the social engineering is either done through an email or an SMS. So how would someone be able to spot an email and be like, I think this is someone is trying to phish me here, or an SMS?
Okay, thank you for that question. I would say that for a start, when you receive a message, let's say it's via email or even via SMS, but let's start with the email. So you have to check your sender address. Get to see who has sent that email. usually when you check, you'll be maybe seeing Google. Google might be spelled with 0 instead of a o double o, and that can give you just a hint that something is fishy here. Or the other thing can be PayPal, and let's say the PAL, pay is P-A-Y, and then PAL, P-A-L. You might find that L is written with a 1. So someone crafts some email, and then they're able to use such send address emails. So you have to look at the send address email and be keen. Then the other thing to focus on can be on the reply to, because that reply to field, sometimes it comes with another email attached. So when you're replying to that person, the email goes to another address. So that can also be something good to look at. Then the other thing can be the greeting. Sometimes they say, dear user, dear customer, but most of the emails that are serious, they're going to introduce you by your name. So for such emails that do not introduce you by your name and they are that critical or asking for PII or your personal information, personal identifiable information, you have to be keen. So with those few tips, I can say you can be able to find out whether something is fishy, and if at all also there are some grammatical errors and something is also putting you on urgency that please deposit this unless this. So such kinds can be signs that something is wrong.
Okay, would this apply to an SMS?
Yes, of
Like
course.
you mentioned.
You might
Okay.
find that we are here and then an SMS pops up and they're like, maybe your friend, your relative, that this thing has happened, please deposit money, we are taking that person to the hospital, or any kind of urgency. Remember, when urgency comes in, you react quickly. So attackers make use of that. They tend to make things urgent, that if you don't do this within this number of hours, then you no longer may be valid for the offer. Maybe something bad is going to happen. We are not going to offer that person treatment, or they're going to die. So at least when you receive such kinds of messages, try to be calm, try to use another path to verify. Let's say if they've sent a message, then do not reply with the message, get a call and get your phone and call that person they're claiming that maybe is having issues, and try to verify before you send anything, either information or money.
Okay, thank you, Malik.
Yeah.
Mr. Ismail, you earlier on talked about hacking into phones. Let's say this is your brother or someone close to you. So what are some of the simple ways people can do to protect their smartphones from being hacked? Mr. Ismail, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Just lost.
Sorry.
Okay. I can hear you right now. Please, beg your pardon.
Yes, I was kind of requesting you to help us, like point out for us simple ways in which people can protect their smartphones from being hacked.
All right. I think the easiest way people to protect themselves from being hacked is one of the measures is that they should know that they should avoid clicking suspicious link, or like Mr. Malik said, any link that will give them sense of that comes with sense of urgency that your account is going to be deactivated in the next 2 hours or in the next 24 hours. Or click here to launch free or to claim your 30 gig free from MTN or from Airtel or from Slack or whatever. All right. The second thing is do not download any let's say application from unknown source, because a lot of people are downloading application from unknown source, maybe from Telegram in the name of mining, or from Google in the name of they wanted to have extra, or they wanted to download a paid app for free, So they should be cautious of that. And the next thing is make sure they use proper backup. And also, I will advise them also to use a kind of strong password, also to set up a password with their phone, because sometimes when you are conducting, or when we are conducting like a kind of a smartphone forensic or some smartphone forensic investigation, you realize that you gain access to somebody's smartphone via online, but due to that somebody set up the password, you find it difficult to alter into that somebody's phone to maybe take all the necessary data that you need. So I can tell you that exactly setting up your password, setting up the password on your smart devices already is really helpful. And also, lastly, is also to exercise, what will I say, to be able to follow up with the current cyber trends, and also to be able to learn more about cybersecurity and how cybersecurity works and how to protect themselves, because they need to learn. Because protecting yourself on the internet is not something that you can be told just once. It's something that you can be able to maybe continue something. Maybe today's this particular, maybe today we are talking about ransomware or phishing attack. Maybe tomorrow something else. So make sure that you learn, make sure that you are doing well research about cybersecurity and how cybersecurity works and the recent cybersecurity trends. Maybe you can be able to protect yourself by doing research.
Thank you, Mr. Ismail. So sadly, I've been informed that you have less than 8 minutes remaining due to the Zoom limitation. But before we can head into any questions from the audience, there is a common issue that most of us face. Most of us use public Wi-Fi. Go to a cafe, whichever place you enter, you immediately ask for the Wi-Fi password. But how do I protect my data when I'm using public Wi-Fi? Malik, would you shed some light for us on how to protect our Wi-Fi, our data, sorry?
Yeah, thank you. Maybe how to protect data that is on the phone. I would say that most of the phones that are currently being released, or if you're holding a latest phone, it has that encryption option. So you just check in your settings and you'll be able to see that option of encryption. Then the other thing, of course, which everyone knows, is you should use a VPN, but do not use the cheap VPNs, because at the end of the day, they also take away some of your data, or they do capture some of the data. So ensure that you use at least premium VPNs, and I would say you can use Proton also. But then the other thing you can do is you can try not to access sensitive information when you're on public network. That is your banking information, your PII, or let's say work related things. So try not to access such when you're on such networks. Then the other thing, you can disable, let's say, the connection when you're not using it. That is the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth. Disable those connections, because when you leave them on auto connect, or when they are not in use, an attacker can make use of that chance or that opportunity. Yeah. So basically, that's what I can say. Maybe lastly on the browsing side, ensure that you're accessing the websites that are having the secure protocol, not the other one that is unsecure. In other words, access using HTTPS protocol, not HTTP. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we proceed, are there any questions from the audience? None? Okay. So if there is one thing that you would want, okay, Mr. Ismail, do you have anything? So you're done muted.
I just need to emphasize on what Mr. Malik said, because a lot of
Yes.
people are making such a huge mistake. They do download the VPN from a source, from Play Store, and at the end of the day, they do transact their banking, or they do transact their banking systems, or their sensitive AI personal information. And at the end of the day, they respect the fact they do strong encryption, they do that, they follow all the cybersecurity, but they do wonder how they got hacked. And this is easily because they use VPN to interact with their personal information, such as IP systems. So it's highly recommended that when connecting with VPN, most especially those cheap VPN, including the paid VPNs, do not transact. It's more advisable to do not transact or do not use any or log in any social media account or any personal social media such as anything that you know if you invest in anything from.
So as we conclude, if there is one thing you'd want the audience to remember about staying safe online, what would it be?
Yeah, thank you, Ruth. Our users, the attackers are not resting. Each and every day they generate a new technique. So as a user or as someone who is being targeted, you never know. You have to also equip yourself. So look out for various resources, educate yourself, and be aware so that by the time the attackers come, you're at least equipped. If you're hit, the attack will not be that severe. So continuous awareness is key as we are also approaching the Cyber Awareness Month, which is this coming October. So let's continue learning and discovering new techniques that the attackers use. Thank you.
What are some of the resources you'd recommend for someone who is not in IT or not technical? What are some of the resources you would recommend someone to keep up to date with what's happening in the cyber world?
Well, there are lots of resources ranging from audio, video, just magazines. But let's start with the newsletters. SANS has the SANS own, so you can subscribe to that and be able to read through. There is also a podcast, Darknet Diaries, if you're a person who loves listening to things when, let's say, you're on the move, you're going to work, you're going home. So you can also utilize that. There is Cyber Life by Ken Underhill. You can also listen to that. They talk about different kinds of attacks and maybe how different people made it in their professionals. So they can, at least somewhere in any podcast, they can detail or discuss such things. So with that, you can be able to build your muscle, to build at least your defense mechanism, so that when something pops up, you're at least aware. Then also the different certification bodies, EC Council, ISC2, which is a former ISC squared. They also publish newsletters about trending things and how to stay safe. So we have quite a